Welcome to Breaking Limitations Show with our host, Joyce Melendez. We are here to empower, equip, and promote. Let us discover your superpower.
Hi guys, welcome to the Breaking Limitations Show. This is your host, Joyce Melendez. I hope you guys are doing well. So I am so excited to come here live on a Monday. I'm excited about the topic we are going to be discussing. So guys, if you are logged on, I want you to make sure you go ahead and share, because we're going to talk about how to help our kids learn more about coding, and we're going to interview some amazing people today. So go ahead and just share so we can be able to have this message out. Yes, so I see quite a few people logging in. Go ahead and just keep logging in. Yes, guys, thank you so much for logging in. Go ahead and keep sharing. Go ahead and share in the different groups, so we can be able to have a quorum and be able to just discuss some of these things. So I'll give you guys 1 minute, then we can go ahead and start. And I will go ahead and also invite our guests. So guys, thank you so much for logging in. Keep sharing this broadcast. Today we are going to have an amazing topic. We're going to discuss, we're going to talk about coding for kids. And we're going to have a session with the founders of Codevarna. And they will just share their story and what made them start this amazing program for our kids. So go ahead and share with a lot of people, especially parents who have kids. And because we know we are living in a digital age right now, and so it's important for us to know exactly what our kids are doing and for us to have more knowledge so we know how to expose our kids to all this technology that is being offered out there. So continue to share with in the different groups, and then we will start shortly. And I'll go ahead and actually invite our guests. So we have Edward Mabonga, and then also we have Nancy Warigio. Hi guys, how are you?
Hi Amy. Hi Ed.
Hello, hi.
So good to see you guys. Welcome to the Breaking Limitations Show. I'm so excited to have you guys here today. This is just awesome. I know Monday is a little bit challenging for most people, but we are here and we're gonna share.
Thank you so much for having us.
Yeah, we're glad to be here.
Yes. I'm excited. So if you could go ahead and just share with the different groups. I want to make sure that people get this information. So we'll go ahead and just share a little bit, and then we can start. Hey, this is just okay. Here you go. Okay. All right. So what we can do today, because I want to make sure I give you guys enough time to just talk about, to share your program. So I'll go ahead and just give you guys an opportunity just to share a little bit about yourselves, and then after that we'll dive into the conversation. So Nancy, if you want to just go ahead and start.
Yeah, absolutely. And I actually wanna, if Amy, if we can just share, if you can allow me to share my screen here real quick.
Yes.
I think I am, right? So I'll just go ahead, and if you guys can see my screen here, my name is what? Can you see my screen?
Oh, hold on 1 second. Yes. Okay, now we can see your screen.
All right, excellent. Thanks, Amy, first of all, for the opportunity to be here. We are excited, Ed and I are excited to be here, sharing with everyone more about Codevarna. And our mission really is to continue to empower young coders to become software engineers. We really believe that our young children, our kids, are basically the backbone of society, and if we continue to empower them, that they can also be able to take on software engineering and change the world. We want our kids to go out and really just start to look at their communities and look at ways that they can start to create that change. And we believe that the coding programs that we are offering, and we'll talk more about what that looks like, is the foundational is the foundation to be able to allow them to go out and start to make that change within their communities. So in terms of introduction, my name is Warigio Nganga. I'm the co-founder for Codevarna with Ed. And I call myself, a jack of all trades. I do a couple of different things, but I'm also, just in terms of my career, been in the tech space for over 10 years, primarily working in with software companies, and my career has mainly been in the customer success area, which is essentially, that person who usually comes in after software has been implemented and really just works with customers to make sure that they continue to utilize and maximize their, the software that they've purchased. So I love to talk to people. I love to, build relationships. And as far as a career, that has been a career that I chose, just wanting to have that face-to-face communication with customers. From a just in terms of background and education, I have a bachelor's degree in information technology, and I also have an MBA in marketing and entrepreneurship. And I also, on top of that, I also focus on, I have another business, Calabash Crown, where I'm a career and a business coach. I coach minorities on how to continue to excel in their businesses and their careers as well. So happy to be here, and I'm looking forward to this conversation.
Awesome. That's amazing. Ed, go ahead and introduce yourself.
Thank you, Joyce, for having us. We're really glad to be here. My name is Ed Mabonga, and I originally from Kenya, and been in the US for quite a while now. Been working in the software industry for a very long time, maybe over 15 years now. I was glad to go to MIT. I did electrical engineering and computer science, and thankfully, I was exposed to software and technology, and that became my passion. And we went and started Codevarna as a way to give back to the community. And part of the reason is we saw a lot of problems in the community in terms of just representation. I work in the software industry, and sometimes you don't see people who look like you, and so we are trying to address this problem from the root and trying to see where, how we can build a pipeline of talent from when kids are young. Because, trying to address this issue when kids are older sometimes is harder. So I think doing it when they're younger seems better. I've also worked in the oil and gas industry in Houston for a while now, developing software solution, doing automation on rigs, building applications and AI solutions for the oil industry. But Codevarna really is my passion, and part of the reason is I'm also part of the MIT Education Council, and we do interviews for kids for MIT admissions, and I did see a lot in the community. A lot of people started addressing, challenging the kids from a very young age. And what I was looking for is people in our community doing the same thing. And sometimes I didn't see that. And so I think Codevarna was our way, in a small way, of trying to bring exposure to the software industry. I know there are many other careers, but software is also a big thing. And so here we are.
Wow. That's really awesome. Just, seeing the need and just starting something that is going to benefit our kids. That is really, really great. because I know personally I'm not really that great with technology. But no, so when my daughter started asking me questions about different things that she wants to do, it was almost overwhelming for me to I didn't know how to help her. But when we have programs like this, that what you guys are doing, then that kind of helps me to be able to know that she can at least learn some of the things that she desires to learn. So I'll go ahead and hand it over to Nancy. So you can go ahead and go from there and tell us a little bit more about Codevarna, how you guys started.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks, Amy, for that. And so maybe just a little bit of background here for the Codevarna story. As Ed indicated, um, you know, representation matters. I think both of us have been in the software space for over 10 years. And one of the things that you realize quickly as a minority in the space is, you become the only in every room that you're in. And so, for us, it was really about having or creating a program that allows for more of us, more minorities, especially starting from a very young age, to get into technology. And the reason behind this is actually twofold, right? I mean, obviously, when you look at the state of minority workers in tech, how we think about it is both, just having the coding skills, but then also, even when you think about our representation, and we'll talk more about that in terms of where, when you think about it from a leadership perspective, if we're not also represented at the very top levels of a lot of this technology companies, then we'll continue to see, kind of like that disparity that we have now, where we don't have a lot of minority workers going into tech, or that are represented maybe at the highest levels. And we want to change that. And we believe that one way to be able to do that is to get our children into coding very earlier on. So, I mean, when you look at our programs, we have actually this year, we have our youngest student is actually 6 years old.
Wow.
Yes. And we actually, and the reason behind that is because we want to, and we're kind of like running a pilot here. We want to see actually maybe what's the youngest we can get students in. So we have a 6-year-old, and I think she's doing, she attended the first class last week, and I think she's doing phenomenally well. We want to be able to see if we can actually, at least have younger children even start from very earlier on, and what that progression will look like, right? So I think for us, again, here, the goal is to continue to educate and nurture that next generation of software engineers, be able to close that gap that we currently see, where minorities are not well represented at those tables. We need to be at those tables where, we're using a lot of the software that we use, and you'll see even, as we go into the presentation, we're not well represented in that technology. And we need our voice, we need our experience, we need the diversity of even our skills and everything that we bring to be represented there. And currently there's that gap. And only when we start educating and getting young coders involved, will we start to see that change, and will we start to see that representation happening across the technology that we are currently using. Ed, do you have anything else that you wanted to add here for Codevarna?
So one perspective, I think, and just before we started, Joyce, you brought up the issue of the pandemic, right? The digital pandemic. And when you think about just how the last year has been, and how we were able to survive in the last year, a lot of people were hunkered down in their houses during the lockdown. A lot of times you're ordering things online. You are getting food and items delivered to your door. I had my niece the other day, hurt herself, and we got a doctor online using an app. And if you about schooling, there was a lot of homeschooling and a lot of online technology that we needed for that. Of course, we have the usual big names like Zoom and all that, but different types of technology that your kids are logging onto. And when you think about that trend was already happening behind the scenes, and I think the pandemic accelerated it.
Mm-hmm.
So we are just part of that journey. And so who's supporting all these systems? Who's maintaining them? It's software engineers, and it's going to continue. And so we want to ride that wave. We want to be part of that opportunity. And so that's part of the reason why we're doing this.
Wow, that is so true, because before the pandemic, I didn't know how quick my kids can adapt and how quickly they can learn how to use different softwares and be just, be so proficient. Like, I don't need you. I've already scheduled my Zoom. Or
Right.
they ask you for permission. Can I set up a Zoom to talk to my friends? Or can I set up this, just different things that I was so used to just taking them to school. They learn in school, come home. But now, because of the pandemic, things really changed. And I discovered that even my son, 5 years old, that time he was 4, he could actually set up 3 different Zooms, and he could he could be in a Zoom and learn and get to not only learn but even make friends and even want to have play dates on Zoom and different things. So what you guys are doing is really great, capturing them at an early age, because they're so open to learning, and they're so flexible, they're adaptable, and so they need to be learning all these things so that they're not left behind, for sure.
Absolutely. And I think also, I mean, we have kids, I mean, they're spending a lot of time on screens, right? I mean, when you think about it. So, kind of maybe now instead of probably and like nothing against a lot of the things that maybe kids spend doing. I mean, gaming is one big thing, right? So I mean, even for gaming and it's more about like starting even to think, allowing our kids to start to think about even whatever they're consuming, how can they become creators, right?
Yes.
Let's move from consumerism to become creators. So even it's a game, I mean, I know, I was talking to the kids about Fortnite, for example, where, I mean, kids love that game and they can play day in, day out, right? That. And just starting to think about even, what, how can you create a game like that, or a game similar to that draws that much attention in terms of like all the people who go in and play Fortnite. What is on the back end of that? And actually, I talk to my nephew all the time because he's a big gamer, and one of the things that I'm always encouraging him to do is even for Fortnite, find out about the founder. What find out about the founder, who he is, his childhood, what happened, like in his childhood, and how did he get to this point where he has, a game that is so huge like Fortnite, that millions and millions are playing daily. And then start to think about what that infrastructure even looks like for him. I mean, this guy he's raking in millions. But when you actually look at, I forget his name, but I know he's not a big gamer himself, right? But he's built an amazing brand with Fortnite. And so I think even encouraging our kids, even as they're playing these games, to think about what can they do? Is this something that they can actually build? Start to think about, like if you have all these end users who are playing this game, what does that, even just from a financial perspective, what does that look like? Because this could be you. So become less of a consumer and start thinking about it from maybe a founder perspective. Like, what can you build right now, and what platform can you build right now that can be the next, I don't know, the next Fortnite again, instead of just being a consumer.
Wow, that's really true. I never thought of telling the kids to research further other than just the game. Because yeah, Fortnite takes a whole lot of time. They play day in, day out. If you don't stop them, they won't stop. So yeah,
Yeah.
that's really, really amazing. Yeah.
And when you think about even the way it's been built out, right? I mean, even just the whole engine and I know you patch his skins and all these things. I mean, like they're brilliant in terms of marketing. Like you can literally live in that game and do nothing else, because I mean you're purchasing all this like accessories and things, and it's just so why not even build or think about building something like that for yourself instead of, I mean, because I mean I think the marketing and the accessories and everything that they've done is so brilliant. Now how can you take that and even as someone who loves to play the game, start thinking about the back end and build something from that. So yeah, pretty amazing. And that's kind of like, even for kids, I think encouraging them to think that way, I think it's gonna change the way they are thinking.
Yeah, wow, that's really, really good. So that's good. I'm gonna challenge my kids to start looking up. I'm telling, do you know who created this?
Yes, and even for you, it's gonna, and I think for everyone, I mean, I think even for us, we are constantly getting educated, because I think even when you look at all these founders, there's a lot that we can all learn from them. A lot of lessons that we can learn from them, from resilience to kind of like that staying power. Even even again, going back to the Fortnite founder, Fortnite just became the thing that kind of went, like kind of took off, but he'd created other games prior to that were just, like nobody knows about them. So yeah. and by the way, he was also, he started coding, I think, when he was maybe 12 or 13.
Wow.
So that's what I'm saying. Like he started earlier on. I think he's now in his 40s. So just thinking through, I mean, it takes sometimes, like sometimes we see people like made stories and we're like, oh, how did they get from there to here? But there's definitely a lot of background work that has gone into the success that we see today.
Yeah.
And I started coding, after high school, when I started college, but I wish I'd learned it way earlier. So, when we started, we were in a physical space definitely before the pandemic, 2019, and we had about 15 students or thereabout. And the following year, last year, I think we 30 something, close to 40 students, and it was all online via Zoom. And so we're continuing that trend. Now, we're still kind of half lockdown, half opening up the country. So so it's pretty interesting to see also the trajectory of the organization. We are a nonprofit organization, and we are looking to really expand the reach of technology and software engineering. So yeah.
Wow, that's really, that's really good, because I know when I was watching what Claire was doing, I tried to watch a little bit on Saturday during the class, and I just looked at it and it felt overwhelming, so I just left it alone. So I walked away, but it's so good. Like, it's really important for them to start these things early, because the earlier you get it, the more familiar you feel. Because I know a lot of parents just get overwhelmed with even knowing, okay, my kid is playing Fortnite, but I really don't understand what Fortnite is, or all these different things that the kids play. You know that you have to make sure they're safe, but if you don't even understand what's going on, then it becomes a little bit challenging when to even help them or control what they're watching and all that. And so but it's good when, I think, if they learn from a young age, then they know some things that they need to do and things that they need to watch out for, and that also helps them to protect themselves. So
yeah, and one interesting trend also we've seen is we've had a lot of returnees to the program, right? And so the current year, from the first year, this is the third year around. And so you're really doubling down on the knowledge. So if you come the first year, maybe you'll just get a feel for it. Because it's a 6-week program. And so over the summer, probably the fall, as we expand. And so you will not learn everything, right? 6 weeks is a pretty short time to learn a lot. And so when you come the following year, you learn again and you continue, and then you can learn on your own. And the year after that, I think you start building the muscle and exercising those muscles, and then it starts becoming second nature. Yeah.
It's
Yeah,
true.
absolutely. And Ed will talk a lot more about the program actually as we carry on. Just because I mean, I think even with the returnees, we have a phenomenal program that we are launching for returnees. So Ed will, it's a scholar program that he's going to talk about and share what that looks like. So we'll talk through that. The other thing that I quickly also wanted to cover here, I think even as we continue on, is really, I mean, why we are doing this. I mean, we've talked about kind of the disparities that exist currently in the tech space, where minorities are actually underrepresented in tech, and we have what we call big tech, right? I mean, the Apples and the Facebooks and the Amazons and Microsofts of the world, right? And when you look at the screen, it really kind of paints the picture for you, right? I mean, what we're seeing here is, so when I say the state of tech workers, I meant Black workers across big tech. So as you can see, I mean, Facebook, we are on Facebook right now. We're on Facebook Live, and we only have 3.8% of Black tech workers in Facebook, right? And then when you look at even companies that we are all familiar with, Microsoft, for example, again, 4.5, Twitter, 6%. Of the workforce is Black there. So this is actually, it tells us that, there's definitely a lot that a lot of work that we need to do to actually make sure that we get that representation within those tech companies. And these are companies or products or services that we consume on a daily basis. And on the right hand side, Apple, I mean, a lot of us use iPads, we use iPhones, we love Apple. You can look at the state of Black tech workers within Apple. So at the executive level, which is at the decision maker level, so think about the C-suite where you'd have maybe where you'd have a lot of the executive and the leadership positions. You can see that we have less than 1% of those positions are held by minorities, right? And then as you come down here, you look at even like when you look at the tech workers, you have a very small percentage here of what you'd call like even the professionals. It's just such a small percentage of how many professionals we have within Apple, which is a company that we love. So I mean, you can see the professionals there are 1.8%. So I think when you start to think about it like that, and then even as you go on and there's some quick stats there on even when it comes to venture capital funding. So usually, for everyone who's maybe not familiar with this, is if you wanna if you have an idea and you want to get funding for that idea, it's a technology, maybe you have an app that you want to get funding for, it's not that easy, especially as a minority company or a startup. As you can see here, the data shows that just 1% of 1% of those venture-funded startups are black tech workers. So even as you go, even you might have a good idea, but it doesn't mean that the people with the big pockets will actually fund your idea. So I mean, it's just 1%. I mean, like, think about that. So yeah, it's very small, and it's actually when I saw that, I mean, this really broke my heart. because so I mean, and I think even it shows you that, I mean, on top of everything, yes, I mean, we rely on funding coming from venture capitalists, but I think also it shows the importance of also supporting um, um, startups within the community. So sometimes even like someone might have a good idea, but they may not be able to go and get funding from outside, but if the communities also support them and help them raise the necessary funds, whether it's through maybe like some sort of like crowdfunding platform, then they're able to bring that idea is able to to be brought to life. But with this, if we are relying on venture capitalist funding, those ideas will just die, because I mean, that's the state, as you can see there. It's really terrible. And then, and then the last one that I wanted to also highlight is the state of women in tech, right? As you can see, I mean, we have 20%, 26% of computer related jobs are held by women, which is again significantly lower, and only 3% of those types of jobs are held by African American women, and then 6% Asian, 2% Hispanic. Again, it goes to show you the disparities there. Just 3% by Black women, right? So again, we need, and by the way, I don't, people say, I mean, some people might say, okay, representation, or what's the big deal? I mean, you're there, representation doesn't really matter, but it actually does. The thing about also seeing people who look like you operating in these types of spaces also allows you, and not only even for Black women, I'm talking about even minorities, Black men, it allows you to also dream, right? Like when I see another Black woman in tech, when I see when I go and meet like even Ed here, really motivates me. When I meet men and women, minority men and women in tech, I'm excited because I can see, I see the possibility. I see the possibility. And then even when you see them in leadership positions, you're able to relate. You're like, man, I mean, if this person was able to rise to that level, it's possible for me. So we need more examples of us in those spaces. That way our children can look at us and get encouraged. And when they're coming in, we've already warmed up the seats for them. So they're coming in to fill those seats and not feeling like they're out of place or anything, because they belong, just like everyone else, they belong to those spaces. Ed, you want to say something about that?
No, I think well said.
Yeah.
Yes, that's really good. So if you could just go ahead and just tell us a little bit about Codevarna, the program, because I know you're still enrollment is until July 16th. So I want as many people as possible to get to know more about it, so they can be able to enroll their kids and they can start learning all these skills.
Yeah, absolutely. Ed, you want to go ahead?
Yeah, sure. So so we have multiple levels for the different skill levels for the kids. And the very first level is called, it's Intro to Programming using the MIT Scratch programming language. So MIT created this programming language that essentially lets you, you can, behind the scenes, it might write, 500 lines of code with a block, almost like doing it with Legos. You drag a block across the screen and it writes the code behind the scenes. And so you get very quick results. It's a very nice programming language for introducing kids to it. So almost like playing Legos, but now in code. And so that's the first programming language that we use to introduce kids to it. It seems pretty appropriate, and I think the kids love it. They're able to see quick results. I'll tell you, in my life as a software engineer, sometimes I'm chasing a bug for hours. So it's very frustrating for a little kid to experience that at the very early level. So we chose MIT Scratch, and it works really well. They're able to see quick results. The second level is what we use Python, and Python it's an easier language to understand. Once you've gone through Scratch, Python is a language that not too complicated, but also pretty powerful. A lot of platforms online that we use Python behind the scenes. A lot of data scientists use Python. So it's a language that once they learn it, they're going to use it for a very long time to come. I remember I did take like I think when I was class 8, I didn't do coding, but I did some packages. My mom took me to a class, and some of those skills that I learned there, I still use them today in my day-to-day job. So I feel like when you learn Python, it's gonna stay with you for for a while. So that's level 2. And then the other program that we are introducing is super exciting. It's the Codevarna Scholars Program. So this is not a 6 weeks program like the others. The others are a 6 weeks program that we'll run over this summer for sure. And we've run it in the past couple summers. The Codevarna Scholars Program is now for the kids who have gone through the 2 levels and are highly motivated. We know they want to be in tech. They want to be computer scientists. They want to be software engineers. They love technology. They love tinkering. And so they will be admitted or nominated to be in this program. And it's 6 to 12 months. And you'll pace yourself because we know they have school. But now this is on top of that. Additionally, we're looking for kids who are committed to community service, who want to give back to the community, and so those are the scholars, right? That we see. And one of the things we'll be doing in that program is introducing concepts about data science. When you learn concepts about data science, some basic AI concepts, and also building applications. So starting to build an app, and you want to build it, from start to finish. It's quite a challenge, and it's not going to take you 6 weeks for sure. So this is an opportunity for you to double down and say, hey, I think I love this stuff. I'm going to run with it. And so we'll be mentoring them along the way. And the idea here is that a lot of kids, if you're 16, 17, 18, applying to colleges and internships, I think this will be pretty valuable to you in terms of saying, hey, I was a Codevarna scholar and this is what I did. And I did it over the past year. I've built this program, I built this website, and I worked on these technologies. And so it's not for everybody, but it's for those who are really into tech. And so, we are proud to announce, we have our first Codevarna scholar this year. It's someone who's been with us in the last couple of years.
Yay! Awesome.
I think it's testament. It's been 3 years. They've gone through the other programs, and they're really showcasing strong skills, and so and pretty soon they'll be going to college. So I hope on their resume they will say they're Codevarna scholars. We love that about that program, and we really want to grow it. So yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty awesome. And just maybe to add a little bit about the scholars program, I honestly believe everyone can be a Codevarna scholar, but I think a lot of it has to do with your commitment to want to learn, right? I mean, this is not, as Ed indicated, this is it's a self-paced program, so you're gonna have to do a lot of work. Actually, a lot of work comes from the behind the scenes, the things that you're doing when your instructor is not in class with you. Because we have a very short time to be in class. We have the 6-week program, and even within that 6-week program, we are only meeting on Saturdays. So it's those students who, if this is something that you really love, then or want to do, then you're going to have to create time to actually, study, take your, we have homework and assignments that's given, but you actually have to go above and beyond. I would encourage everyone to, kind of, be, like definitely go after our instructors and ask them questions. They're accessible. Just make sure that you're asking questions. You're reading the material. You're researching. I mean, right now, we live in a great world with YouTube University, where you can go. You go to school on YouTube and all
Yes.
these free resources.
Yes.
And you just go there. And if there's something that you don't understand, you can definitely reach out to Ed. But we're living in a place where actually we have no excuse not to excel. And then the other thing that I want everyone to remember is the 10,000 hours, that model, that approach that we hear, where, I mean, for you to excel in something, or people who have excelled in whatever, whatever it is, whether it's technology, art, something that they're good at in their career, they've spent that amount of time, 10,000 hours, which equates to over 5 years, and probably working 6 to 8 hours a day on whatever that craft is. So for you to actually master programming, then you're going to have to really take that 10,000 hours approach at heart, and make sure that, I mean, you can, instead of playing Fortnite or whatever it is that you're doing, or, I mean, whatever you, you actually, instead of doing that, though, honestly, just, find time to invest take that time and invest it actually into your future. Because I think, I honestly, think that, the creators and the founders of tomorrow, obviously we are building them, they're being created right now, right? These are the people who are going to be creating those phenomenal companies of the future. But for you to be able to do that, you have to start to use your time wisely. And this is a great way to actually start to invest your time, and of course join the Codevarna Scholars Program to be able to help you excel and get to that point.
Wow, that's really great. That the Codevarna Scholars Program, and even whoever is taking it right now, I'm so proud of them.
Yeah, absolutely. And we'll be sharing a little bit more about, even like our scholars' journey as they go along. I think this person, the student, like Ed indicated, started with us 3 years ago. They just have that kind of, they're very inquisitive, right? They just have that thing of, they want to ask, they want to get to learn more. They're hungry, actually.
Yes.
So we're looking for a hungry, that, as a scholar, you gotta be hungry,
Yes.
So like, he's hungry to learn. And honestly, I think if we have more students like him, I think, when you're actually pushing yourself, actually, and you're also pushing the instructor to be able to, because I mean, you're always asking for more, like, I've done this, more, show me, what else can I do? Like, if you have that type of hunger in you, then I think you're just gonna do phenomenally well. So yeah, I mean, excited about the Scholars Program, and encourage everyone to actually, see how you can be part of this.
Yes, that's really, really good. So if people are interested in signing up for the classes, what's the process?
Yeah, Ed, you want to talk about it?
Sure. So we do have our website, and the application is on there. And thankfully, Joyce, you have it on the screen at the bottom. We had started this past Saturday, but we extended the deadline to next Saturday. So there's a little bit of catch up, but the 16th is the deadline. So on there, there'll be a list of questions, and those questions are curated, maybe about 10 or so questions. And it might feel a little bit like too much work. Part of the reason is to also gauge commitment. We want to see kids who are committed, right? If you can fill these questions and get past that, then you're well on your way there. So go ahead and fill out the questions on the website. And the reason those questions also targeted to some of the questions that are asked in the Scholars Program And even moving on later on, when you apply to other programs, they ask pretty similar questions. So we're trying to build that journey for you starting from the beginning. It might not make sense even for a 6-year-old, 7-year-old, 8-year-old, or a 10-year-old, but just do your best. So fill out the application online, and then you'll get a response from us. And there are a number of requirements, a number of tools that we use because the program is online. So you need an MIT Scratch account. There are other platforms that we use for instruction. So we'll email you those instructions for how to set up. The program is free, so you don't need to pay anything to enroll. And then the commitment is Saturdays. We have the classes in the mornings, and so it's 2 hours of instruction, and then there's homework, and we also have there's homework that you submit, and then we also have office hours during the week where you could ask questions, and you could always email questions or contact us with any questions. So generally that's the process. And so we do expect to see more applications. Like I said, last year we had about close to 40 students.
Wow.
And we split them up into the 2 classes. Mm-hmm. And some of those are graduating, and we'll be moving them into the Scholars Program. Mm-hmm. And then the new ones will be joining at the beginning. And so we hope to see this pipeline moving forward. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think I want to also add, I think even last year we had, so we're definitely going for the international market as well. So I mean, yes. I think this, we don't have, we're not only, not only students in the US eligible, we definitely want to open this app globally. So if you're, regardless of where you're sitting, we want to let you know that you're welcome. And, last year we had actually 3 students from Kenya join. So I think that was pretty cool. And we have some returnees as well this year, and we're expecting a couple of more people to join as well. So I just want to, again, it kind of just shows me, even just the hunger is even beyond here, where students want to learn. Mm-hmm. And to me, I think even just having this platform, being able to open this virtually and have students from all over the world basically, be able to have access to this is amazing. And then to see even their response, they're excited to learn. They wanna, they understand that this is one way that they can come in and change their world and change the world. And so they're really hungry to learn about technology. So definitely excited about where this is going, and the fact that now it's global. And I think even with what happened with the pandemic, some of the things that happened, where I think we just have more people are willing and open to virtual learning. Mm-hmm. So I think even that will continue to open up this as the virtual learning as a platform for us to reach more people, which is really what we want to do.
Yeah, and actually, I was also, not just Kenya. We had a student from California, and I remember she had to wake up early, like at 7 a.m. Yeah. And West Coast hours, because we're 2 hours ahead of California, and really impressed by that kid. Very committed. So that was pretty interesting and very inspiring.
Oh wow!
Yeah.
It's really good, because I know a lot of kids want to learn. A lot of kids love technology, and they just want to even learn the background of how things work. So I'm really excited to see what this program is doing, and also just to see even the future of the program. So I'm 100% sure you're going to be international, and you'll be having the programs at different times. When people are sleeping, you'll be teaching and all that. So you guys prepare yourselves.
Absolutely. One thing that I also want to encourage people, actually, so we are, as Ed indicated earlier, we are a nonprofit. We are 100%, like in terms of our instructors, they are donating their time. So personally, what I want to actually say is encourage, because I know we have a lot of professionals within the within the community, and I want to encourage actually everyone who's out there listening. And if you have a background in technology, we are interested in kind of having even instructors come in who know or have familiarity with different programming languages. We want to encourage software engineers to actually come in and donate their time. Because I mean, so if you can donate your time, it's such a worthy cause. I mean, I think it's just such an amazing way to be able to give back. And I know that we have a lot of people with such an amazing skill set that are out there and who can come in and donate their time, because again, we want to make sure that we are nurturing our children and they continue to grow in that path. And this is one way that we can also give back. And I know there's some amazing developers out there who can also join our team.
Yeah, and just to double down on that, I've realized that over the years, as you give back your time, right? As you donate time, you're exercising a muscle, and as you teach, you learn more, you understand better. And to me, it helps me in my professional life, in my work environment, a lot of concepts. Sometimes when you have to explain something to an 8-year-old, it really forces you to think, because they ask you questions no one has ever asked before. and then you wonder why. You're like, I wonder why that works that way, And so I think these kids will exercise a muscle when you teach them it's going to be very valuable to you even in your professional life. So
yeah, and I think, Ed, you had an experience even as we have our youngest coder who joined, who's 6 years old, even being able to just simplify it enough for a 6-year-old to understand. So I think if you can, and by the way, a lot of these concepts are not that complicated, but I think when you're forced to actually simplify it for a 6-year-old to actually be able to understand, then I think even for you, I think professionally, you'll continue to even grow that muscle. Imagine being able to walk in and explain those very complicated concepts in a way that's just, like very simple. And that's what we need. These things shouldn't be that complicated. So I think even just professionally, it's going to continue to grow you as an instructor. And that's why I'm encouraging even other people, like Ed said, I mean, teaching and being able to teach, the patience that's required for that. And then also just that skill of being able to break down very difficult concepts into these bite-sized concepts that are digestible is something that you not only even in your career, but I think even regardless of where you go, that is something that you can actually carry on with you. So again, there's definitely upsides to this, and I can market this all day. So
But that's really true, because the more you teach, the more you learn, and the more you learn, the more you learn different ways on how you can present it to different groups of people. So that's true. So guys, if you're out there, I know a lot of people have made comments, so I'll go ahead and just read some of the comments. We have Liz Shemi. She said that they love Codevarna. We have they're so grateful, it's been a blessing for them. And then we also have Maureen is watching. We have Pastor Shaw also is here watching. We have Pastor Mel. He's shared a lot with his group, telling them to watch and listen. And then we also have Lucy Simiyu also watching. We have Terry Simon also watching. We have quite a few people. Lily Mabonga also is watching. So we have quite a few people watching and just putting their comments. I know when I close my phone, it kind of I lose the history.
That's okay. That's okay.
Yeah, so I don't have the
That is
whole history,
amazing.
but we have a lot of comments going on. And so one of the things I also want our viewers just to know, that since this is a non-profit organization and they're taking the time to strengthen, to teach our kids, and to be able to, it takes a lot of time and energy and in planning and everything. So we have the website there, codevarna.org. Go to that website, and if you want to donate any amount, you can go ahead and donate, because any donations will be able to be used towards helping with the program, towards funding, making sure that the kids have what they need in order for the program to run smoothly. Because as you heard what Nancy said, we want this program to go global, because this is something that we need. And we've even looked at the numbers, and we see how we are really underrepresented when it comes to the tech world. Because I know we've focused on having our kids, encouraging them to do maybe nursing and things like that, but a lot of people don't focus on technology, and we find that the tech world is just dominated by a certain group of people. So we want to make sure that we are represented also in this space, so that we can be able to make decisions, so that our kids can be able to dream, they can be able to build these programs that other people are building, and making all the money, making all the decisions, that our kids can be part of that too, and they can be strengthened, and they can be able to break limitations. So in this show, we always talk about breaking limitations, breaking those mindsets, those barriers, things that are causing us not to become everything that we are designed to be. And this is one area where they're breaking limitations with the kids, teaching them these skills early, so that they can become more effective even later on, and make better decisions when it comes to joining the tech world. So any other closing remarks? Because we've been here for an hour now. So
Yeah. Wow. Yeah. Thank you so much for that. And I think, yes, definitely, reinforcing the whole breaking limitations concept.
Mhm.
The skills that you're going to learn when you become a coder are going to help you be able to change, it's going to change communities and just change the world around you. So I think, and that's what it is, it's really about like exercising that muscle and going above and beyond even what you thought was possible, and going in line with that, breaking limitations is just being able to do that, doing things that you never thought possible,
Mhm.
and going out there and being amazing, right?
Mhm.
So I encourage everyone to actually follow our story, follow Ed and I, at Codevarna on Facebook, on Instagram. And come out, teachers. I mean, we want teachers to come out and help us teach. And then, if for everyone else, definitely support us, and also, just donate what you can, because again, we want to be able to reach, there's so many students out there who don't necessarily have, or we have the opportunities that we do where we are. And so it's important for us to think about, even as our children are getting access to some of the things that we have. For example, I mean, we are teaching this class online. Some students, depending on where they are, they may not have access to a computer. They may not have access to like an internet card to be able to access this class online. They may not have electricity. I mean, there's so many things that go on with a virtual class that they may not have access to. So I mean, donations also help us be able to create that infrastructure
Mm.
to get to all those children who actually need this, and need these coding lessons to be able to change their lives. So we encourage you to donate as well to help those children. Ed?
I'd just like to thank the parents too. I think a lot of the parents we've seen are very committed. I think year over year, this third year around, we've seen the support of the parents with the kids, and so and it takes a lot to build that skill. It takes a lot of time, energy, resource, money, and so thank you to the parents, and thank you, Joyce, for having us on your show.
Thank you, Joyce. Really appreciate it. Let's go and break limitations.
Yes, yes, yes. So, guys, thank you so much for taking the time to be here. Thank you for giving us all this information about Codevarna and how our kids can be able to join and they can be able to learn about coding. And I know this is a really hot topic, especially for a lot of parents, because I know just from the conversations I've had with parents, they're really overwhelmed when it comes to technology and how to help their kids with technology, because things have changed dramatically. We were not given time to at least learn things slowly, progressively. Everything just changed all of a sudden. So I know a lot of parents would enjoy having this, their kids participate in this. And then, of course, guys, make sure that you go to that website, put a comment, follow them on Facebook, Instagram, and then also make sure that if you can donate something towards this program so we can be able to continue empowering our kids. So I think it's already 1 hour. So thank you so much, guys. Anything else before we finish?
No, thank you. Thank you so much. Yeah, I think that's all from my end. Again, really appreciate the opportunity to being here and sharing more about Codevarna.
Okay, so I'll just go ahead and read a few more people also joined. We have Esther, she said she's here watching. We have Paul, who said that it takes a village to raise a child. Asante sana for your efforts in raising the next generation. We have Alan Lawrence from Kenya, who said he's watching. We have Lily, she said my Zambian people will join too. You have become global. So yes.
Hey, good, good. We love to hear that. Take it global, right?
Yes.
Share, guys. I mean, we want to reach as many children as we can. So definitely continue to widely share this. We really appreciate it.
Yes, and guys, even go ahead and share this even with people who are not able to log in to watch the live, but they can watch the replay. And then if you're watching replay, just go ahead and put hashtag replay so that we can know that you are watching the replay, and put any comments or any questions that you have. And of course, if you have any questions, you can send them to me on Breaking Limitations, or you can also send them directly to Ed and Nancy on Codevarna web page. So guys, thank you so much. It was so nice to have you. And viewers, thank you so much for staying there faithfully, listening to us. And of course, we'll have another session of the Breaking Limitations, and we'll have a flyer out soon. So I'm looking forward to seeing everyone. Thank you, guys.
All right. Thank you so much, Amy. Thanks, Ed.
Mhm.
Have a good one. Thanks.
You
Bye bye.
too. Bye-bye. So, guys, thank you so much for logging in. It was so nice having each and every one of you. So, I hope you are going to follow up with this with Codevarna and apply for all this, because we have because it's really, really important that we empower our kids. And that's what Breaking Limitations is all about. We want to make sure we are not just empowering ourselves as grown-ups, but we are also empowering our kids. And this would be such a great opportunity for you to be able to just have your kids get exposed to this tech world at an early age. So guys, thank you so much. It's been wonderful, wonderful. And we're going to have another session coming up later during this week. I will be posting a flyer out so you can be able to know who will be having. But other than that, it's been real. God bless you so much and have a wonderful, wonderful evening.